and welcome back to the Twisted Threads podcast. My name is Stacy, your host, and you're watching episode 6. Today is Tuesday, June 13th, and I am coming to you from a sunny house in the Sierra Nevada mountains in California. If it's your first time watching, thank you so much for checking me out, and I really hope you enjoy it. If you do and you want to see more, please hit the subscribe button and like me. If you are a returning viewer, thank you so very much for coming back repeatedly. I really do appreciate it, and it's just crazy still to think that you want to watch me more than once. So if you want to follow me on any social media, you can find me personally on Instagram and Ravelry as Stacy Lee. You can find my hand-dyed yarn on Instagram and Etsy as Twisted Threads Yarn. You can also find this podcast on Ravelry as the Twisted Threads Podcast Group, or Twisted Threads Podcast under groups. There you can find kind of a measly selection of topics, but please feel free to post and I would love to reply to you. There is an introductions thread, a what we're working on thread, and I did just start a chatter thread for my Summer of Sweaters Cal. More on that later probably, but feel free to post in any of those and I would love to reply to you. So I think that's about it. So we'll just get right into what I've been knitting. The first thing, actually I have two finished objects. The first thing I don't have with me anymore. It has taken up the bulk of my time and I'm really happy to get it off the needles because it was my dad's sweater, the Boatyard Pullover by Hannah Fettig. That was in her book Texture, that I knit my dad in a 48-inch chest. I think I'll insert a picture here. So now that you've seen it, that was knit with Cascade Longwood in the color 29. I believe that was the charcoal gray color. It doesn't say anything on the ball band, so I'm not entirely sure, but I think it was charcoal gray. And I loved it. I love moss stitch or seed stitch, whatever you prefer to call it. It was so much fun. I want to knit myself one. I'm going to do some math and knit myself one. Maybe I'll grab the yarn in a minute and show you, but that's later. I still have to get my other two sweaters done. But back to my dad's sweater. He loved it, by the way, and it fit him perfectly. I'm so glad I knitted it a 48 chest, not a 44 like I was going to, so yay! I pretty much knit exactly to the pattern. The only thing, I did two things differently. I knit the ribbing to 2.5 inches instead of what the pattern called for, which was 3. Any longer than what I knit, I feel like it would have looked weird, or I would have thought that it looked weird. So, and it was plenty long. I knit the body an extra 1/2 inch longer and the sleeves an extra 1/2 inch longer in the moss stitch to compensate for the shorter ribbing. And then the other thing that I did differently was when you pick up for the neckband, you use 2 sizes smaller needles, which the body is knit on 8s. So the neckband is knit on 6s, US 6s, US 8s. The last 2 rows of the neckband I actually dropped down to US 4s just to ensure that it laid flat along his neckline. It would have been fine. It would have been totally fine if I had stayed at 6s, but I didn't want to have to rip it out. So I dropped down for those last 2 rows and then bound off in the 4s, and it works out perfectly, as you can tell from the picture. And from the picture, he is smiling. He was super happy with it. I'm really glad. And it was snowing that day that I gave it to him. I gave it to him Sunday. I gave it to him on Sunday. So yay! My husband's grandma came up, and she's 94, and she's not very mobile anymore. So my husband's sister, my sister-in-law, and I kind of hung out with her in her cabin most of Friday and Saturday, so I had a lot of knitting time on that, and she used to knit, so she was very excited to see me knitting on a sweater. I think that's about it. About my dad's sweater. And I did do a project page for that. You can find a little bit of information on there since I followed the pattern pretty much exactly. I didn't leave that much information, but there's pictures and the needle sizes I used and the yarn that I used and everything like that. If you want to reference that, I will link everything down below. And I will show you my next finished object, or objects, because it is a pair of socks. Yay! These are the Braids and Diamond socks by Kaylin Beatty. I was test knitting these for her, and this is what the pattern looks like. This yarn is my hand-dyed yarn, so it's Twisted Threads yarn. This is on my standard sock base. It's a 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon on the alpine, or with the alpine colorway on it. And it is just kind of a, hope you can see that because I cannot see a darn thing. Open lacework pattern. It's not really super lacy, but there's openness to it and a little leg, but they are super cute. They were super fun to knit. As I mentioned in the last podcast, I made a personal error, nothing to do with the pattern. My personal error was I knit these on 64 stitches, which is a women's medium in the pattern, and I should have done 56 because these are knit on US 1s. And usually I knit 64 stitches on US size 0s for my socks. They are a little bit loose and a little big. So I might give these away, but I absolutely love them. I have to take some pretty pictures and put them on my project page, and then I will be officially done test knitting. So I'm super, super happy with these. But yeah, I love them and they're done. I'm gonna take this off because I have a half object to show you. And my half object is living in my chicken bag that I made. The needles were just sticking in it and I got really scared that I wasn't actually done with it and I just lied to you. So this half object, I actually haven't woven the ends in yet, and usually I'm a stickler about weaving my ends in right when I'm done or before I'm even done. But here is one sock. I have yet to start the second sock because of my next project, you'll see. But here it is. Now this is a 64 stitch sock knit on size 0 needles, and as you can tell, it fits my, if it wasn't twisted, it fits my sock blocker much better, and my foot much better. It does have a little leg as well. I think last time I was at almost to the heel or after the heel. I don't have a progress keeper in this, so I couldn't tell you exactly. Maybe I think it was after the heel, and I said I was going to do about 20 rows more up the leg. And I think I did about 10 and decided I wanted shorty socks because it's summertime and I like wearing my hand knit socks whenever I can. So if I'm wearing a dress or a skirt or shorts or anything, these will look much better than a little bit taller ones. This is a some of my hand-dyed yarn as well. This is Twisted Threads yarn. This was a test skein of yarn, so this is kind of a one-of-a-kind stripy skein. Probably will not be able to ever recreate it again, but yeah, so 64 stitch sock. I did these toe up. I started with 10 stitches at the toe, increased every row for I think 5 rows, and then increased every other row until I got to 64 stitches total. Did my foot, fish lips kiss heel, and did my leg, and then I did 2x2 ribbing for I think 10 rows, and yeah, I need to weave those ends in because that bothers me. Most people hate weaving ends in, I know, and I have to weave my ends in. Like my Cozy Memories pillow cover that I'm making, I've woven every end in after I finish that color. And I haven't worked on it in forever, so I'm not going to show you. Once I decide I want to work on it a little bit more, I will I will bring it out and show you, but if I'm not working on it, there's no point in showing you. All right, so the reason that I have not started that other sock, because I don't usually get second sock syndrome, is the sock right here. This is the reason why I haven't started my other sock. This puppy right here. Now this sock is going to be a present for my best friend, and I am going to see her this upcoming Friday, and we're going to go to Monterey for the weekend. So last night I decided that I needed to knit her a pair of socks. So here it is. That's pretty true to the colors. I'm doing these cuff down. I'm doing 2x2 ribbing. I did 12 rows and then 40 rounds in the leg, a fish lips kiss heel in lime green. And I'm just going down the foot, and she is about a size larger than I am. I wear a size 7 shoe. She wears a size 8. So I'm going to do about 65 rows and then a matching toe in the green. And then I'm hoping that I have enough left over to make myself a pair out of this skein of yarn. And this skein of yarn is Twisted Threads yarn. I swear I'm not sponsored by myself or anything. This is my newest colorway. It's called Basket Days. And I love it. Now I did keep this skein because there is way more lime green speckles, or there are way more lime green speckles in the actual yarn. And this one, because I dye multiple skeins of yarn in the same pot at the same time, this one did not get as much. So I figured it would be perfect to keep for myself and make a pair of matching bestie socks. So these have to be done by Friday. I have faith because I literally did this from about 5 o'clock yesterday to 9 o'clock yesterday evening. That is with getting up and making dinner as well. So I have faith that I can get them done and maybe even start on either my pair of socks for this or my second sock of the other ones. But same thing, 64 stitches. These are on size 1s. Because her feet are a little bit bigger than mine, I figured I would do 64 stitches on size 1s. And these are Chiagu interchangeable minis. I love them. All right, more whips. My next work in progress is my self-designed cardigan. I was hoping to get this front piece finished before I showed it to you, but then I decided that I was going to make my best friend a pair of socks, and this got thrown back into its bag. So last time you saw it, I was just about to start decreasing for the armhole, and here it is. I have decreased for the armhole, and I'm going up the side. I'm about 2.5, 3 inches away from starting the crew neck decreases on the other side, and then I will be done with that front. There's not much to say about that one since I'm kind of making up my own pattern. I am using the, here I'll grab it, here. Knitter's Handy Book of Sweater Patterns by Ann Budd. That's what this guy looks like, and I'm going off of the stitch count in there for 7 stitches, 7 stitches to the inch. And it's going great. I keep putting it away because of other projects, and every time I pull it out, I go, oh, why did I stop working on this? I really, really want to finish it, and I love it. But, oh well. It is knit on, I'm knitting it on US 2s, which is how I'm getting 7 stitches per inch. I wanted a kind of tightly knit sweater out of it, and I'm knitting it also out of 100% Rainbow Day. This is the tag here. It's Lana Plant or Lana Plante yarns. It is custom mill spun, and it is US grown yarn, and it is dyed with indigo. And here's the cake. I am alternating skeins. I have 3 skeins of this. I'm using 2 and alternating right now because I'm knitting a cropped cardigan, most likely with cropped sleeves. I think that I can get away with just using the 2 skeins, and if I have to break into the third, then I'll kick it up and break into the third. But so far so good. Sorry, my hair keeps falling in my face. And yeah, let me show you my last work in progress, which last week I said I was going to work the most on, and I worked the least amount on it. I'm a horrible person. I'm such a horrible person. No, I wanted to get my dad's sweater done by Father's Day, and it's done. So there it is. This is my Flea cardigan. And I think I've done one repeat on it since you've last seen it, if that. So I have split for the sleeves. I did that last week, and there is my little bitty progress on the body of the cardigan. But I love it. I absolutely adore it, and I will work on this more this week. Maybe. Those socks might get the most knitting done, but we'll see. I doubt I'll be taking much knitting. I doubt I'll be working on much knitting this weekend. I'll be taking a whole bunch, but I don't get to see my best friend very often. The last time we actually got to see each other was almost 2 years ago. No, it was last year. We went to Tahoe last year for my mom's 50th birthday. And then the last time I saw her before that was for my wedding, which was almost 2 years ago now. So we don't see each other very often, even though we only live a few hours away from each other. So I doubt much knitting's going to be getting done because I'm driving down, picking her up, and then we're going straight to Monterey. So yay for 6-hour drive. But it's going to be fun. It's going to be so much fun. I booked the last hotel room in this one hotel that we're staying at that wasn't like uber expensive because we're just staying one night. It's the couples romance suite, complete with hot tub and fireplace in the hotel room. And I was just, I'm so excited. We're like, oh, well, let's get champagne and chocolates, and we're gonna get bath bombs, and we're gonna sit in the hot tub. And maybe we'll get a couples massage. And my husband's just laughing. He's like, you got the couples romance room? Like, hey, that's a good deal. I'll get romantic with my best friend. But yeah, so back to the Flea cardigan. I am knitting this right now on US 2.5s. They are Addy needles, and the yarn that I'm using, everything is Quince & Company except for this color here. So the kind of beigey off-white color, that is the contrast color number 1. So it is the ribbing, and also the color of the fleas, that is Cascade Heritage Silk. All of the contrast colors are Quince & Company Finch in multiple colors, obviously, and the main body of the cardigan is Quince & Company Tern. And I love it. I am super, super excited to get some more work done on it, and hopefully that actually happens. But yeah, that is about all of my knitting, which is crazy. And I just went through all of that super, super quickly. I do have a little bit of sewing done. I have many finished objects, that of which I'm not going to show all of them to you, but I will talk about some. One of them I'm wearing this top, which, woof, see if I can show it to you. It's a super flowy top. I made 2 of these this week, and I love it. It is, let me see if I brought the pattern. Oh, I did. It's right here. It's a McCall's pattern. It is the M7125. And I did view A, that one right there. And I absolutely love it. I did cut out the size medium. Probably could have gone with a size small, or an extra small, but whatever. I wanted it to be really flowy, and so far I've made 2 of these. I've made this one here and a black one with red roses on it that is in the wash, so I'm not going to show you because I've already worn that one. But yeah, I highly recommend this. Super, super easy. It does have sleeve bands, or yeah, I guess, well, armhole bands and a neck band. I could not get them to lay flat, so all I did was, with my matching colored thread, I did a zigzag, folded it over twice, did a zigzag stitch around all of the openings, and it works totally fine. I was not having it, and instead of frustrating myself over trying to get the bands to lay perfectly flat and the bias to go perfect around the armholes, zigzag stitch, it's my best friend. So I've made 2 of those. I've also made 3 of the cardigans that I was talking about last week. I did not bring any of them over. Those are, I think, the Blackwood cardigans. I think that's right. And I love that pattern. I have a ton more fabric coming, and I'm going to make matching Agnes tops and Blackwood cardigans, not to wear together, but to wear separately, because I found this really awesome sale from this website that's really hit and miss. It's called fashionfabricsclub.com, and I've ordered from them before, and it's really difficult to know what you're getting from them when you're ordering it, but they had a $2 a yard knit fabric sale, and I couldn't say no. So I think I spent like $40 and got 10 different colors. Maybe something like that. It was insane. But it's all really lightweight, kind of burnout fabric. So I know that that's going to be super thin and really light. And for cardigans, for that type of cardigan, that's perfect. So regardless of really exactly what the fabric looks like, that price, and for what I want it for, it should be just fine. Yeah, so I did that cardigan 3 times. I did a navy and gray striped one, which I posted on Instagram, and then I did a black one, which was out of organic knit fabric, and then a kind of dark gray one, which I actually had enough to cut out 2 of, so I'm thinking I might make the second one for a friend. Excuse me. Which I'm not sure which friend will get it, but somebody that's my size, because I cut out my size, will get it. And then thank you to Jacqueline of the Brooklyn Knit Folk podcast. I watched your podcast last night, and you mentioned the Ogden Cami by True Bias, and I have been wondering what that cami was every time I saw it on your Instagram. And I know you're not watching this, but I had to pause her video and purchase this cami pattern because I made one. Oh, butterflies are flying by. So I made one. Here it is. Actually, I made 2, but again, showing you one. And this has a funny story behind it, because this lace fabric, this is still a really sheer top, but with a bralette underneath and some high-waisted jeans, you'll only see a little bit of skin through it, so perfect. But back to the fabric. Everything on this cami I found at the thrift store. The lace fabric I bought, there was a rounder, it was all folded up, of 6 yards of it for like $6.99. And then the lining of this fabric is actually a sheer curtain that I got for 50 cents. And so originally I was just going to double up the sheer curtain and sew a cami, but it is so sheer, I cannot do that. So I decided to do the lace overlay, and I have more than enough fabric to do a lace overlay on a dress, a skirt, another cami, and a lace overlay on it. Ooh, a cardigan would be cute. Too bad it's not stretch. But yeah, so here it is. I did stitch the lining down, which you can't see on the outside, which is great, but you can see the stitching on the inside because I used fabric. I used thread that matches the outside fabric. The only thing I did differently were these straps here. The pattern has you sew them right sides together and then turn them right side out. When it's that small of a thing that you're turning right side out, I can't do it. I don't like to do it, it bugs me, and then if it's not perfectly straight, it bugs me, and I just know that it's not good, or not good enough. So what I did was I just ironed them flat, ironed it in half, folded the ends in, ironed it in half again, and then zigzag stitched in the matching color down it. And unless you're like 3 inches away from it, you can't even tell that there's a zigzag stitch all over the top of it. So I think it's great. And again, I made another one of these. I've done so much sewing this week in between working. Because I work from home, I will, if I don't have the pattern pieces cut out, I will cut the pattern out, do a little work, cut the fabric out, do a little work, sew the pattern together, do a little work. And just so far this morning, it is 2 o'clock right now, and I finished these 2 camis between when I got up this morning and probably 10 o'clock. So I am busting out some summer wardrobe, and I did want to make some tops and whatnot to take with me on my little trip getaway this weekend with my best friend. So that might have been the incentive for making so many things. But yeah, I forgot. I did make 2 skirts this week as well. They were the Chardon skirts by Deer and Doe. I posted one picture on my Instagram of a Birch Organics fabric that I made the skirt out of, and I love them. That skirt pattern is already one of my favorite patterns. I've made it 3 other times before these last 2, so I know it fits well. I like the length of it and whatnot, so really all I had to do was cut the fabric out and stitch it together. I don't even look at the pattern anymore. Actually, most things, once I make more than once, I don't look at the pattern, but yeah, I think that's all I brought over. I don't really have any more, well, of course I have more knitting plans, but nothing that I want to talk about just yet because I still have my 2 sweaters and 2 pairs of socks that I'm working on. So I don't want to get ahead of myself because if I mention it here, I'm most likely going to cast it on. So we're not going to do that until at least one of the other sweaters is finished or both of my pairs of socks. So no knitting talk, or future knitting talk this time around. As far as sewing talk, I did buy another pattern from True Bias as well. I don't remember what the name of the dress is, but it's a really cute dress. It's supposed to be used as a beach cover-up or a day dress, and it's super cute. It's got a cinched-in waist, and then the front buttons or unbuttons, and then there's no buttons on the skirt, and it's got a tie waist to cinch it in. And I really, really, really want to print that out. And oh, excuse me, must have been lunch. I really want to print that out and cut out a pattern, or cut out some pieces to make that dress. But the pattern itself is 51 pages to tape together. I don't even have that much paper left. I just buy a ream of paper at a time, and I have printed out so many patterns recently that I don't have that much paper left. So I need to make the trek over to Staples or Walmart or whatever. They're still, both of them are right next to each other, and regardless, it's an hour and a half away from me one way without road construction. So probably at least 2 hours away. And buy some paper. Or just make the dresses that I already have cut the patterns out for. I don't know. Maybe I'll just be lazy and order it off of Amazon. Prime is amazing. But I really want to make that dress. And once my fabric from the order that I placed online comes in, which that's another thing about the website, it doesn't tell you when they ship, and it usually takes a while. So it probably won't be here for a couple more weeks, but oh well. I have a ton of fabric still. Oops. I was actually cleaning out my closet a few days ago, and I found a tote box, like a big tote bin, labeled fabric, and it is packed full of knit fabric. I totally forgot that I had it. So I'll be busy for a while. I don't need that fabric to come in. But yeah, I haven't done much gardening. I'm hoping my plants live. I just looked outside at them. They're right down there because it snowed on Sunday night and yesterday. We probably got about an inch total. It didn't stick everywhere in the yard, but it stuck on the truck, and it stuck in certain places that are a little more open where there's less trees. Which is just wonderful. I accidentally left my bedroom window open Sunday day, and when my husband and I went to get into bed that night, it was 36 degrees in the bedroom because we keep the door shut from the rest of the house so the dogs don't get in there, and it was storming, and our big fluffy dog, which you can't see but she's right here, she's deathly afraid of thunder. So when it thunders, she tries to climb under our bed, and our bed is about, I don't know, 7 inches, 8 inches of space between floor and the bed frame. The dog can get about halfway before her ribs and tummy get caught, and she just gets stuck on her side and she starts running and she can't get out. So we shut the bedroom door so she couldn't get in there. I actually popped the recliner out on this chair right here, and I cover it with a blanket, and she climbs underneath where the recliner's popped out. And somebody just drove by, I got all distracted. She climbs underneath where the recliner pops out and has a little fort. So it's all dark under there. She lays down and she's a lot calmer. And it works out. It works out okay. But I totally forgot where I was going with that because I got distracted. Oh, cold bedroom, yes. So yeah, it was really, really chilly in the bedroom. I made sure to shut the windows that night, but holy moly, it was cold. It's finally starting to warm up, and I should have liked the snow a little bit more this week because it's supposed to be almost 90 degrees by next Monday, and that is way, way too hot for me. That's usually about the top temperature that we see here. I think maybe twice or 3 times this summer we'll see like mid 90s, but that is like once in a blue moon. Doesn't happen very often, and it's supposed to be 87 next Monday. I'm gonna go up the hill. But it's funny because we're at about 5,500 feet, and about 20 minutes from us, it's 7,500 feet, they still have like 8 feet of snow on the ground everywhere. So I'll just go up there where it's much cooler, take the dogs for a run. If their lakes if the ice is broken up on the lakes up there, maybe I'll take them up. But if the ice is not broken up, I will not take the dogs up because I have a fear of letting them go at the lake and them trying to chase like a duck or a goose that can easily sit on top of the not so thick ice, and them running out there and then becoming hypothermic when they fall in the water, and then I'll have to save them. That's all bad. So we'll just have to see. I'll take an exploratory drive up later this week and check it out. And if it's ready to go, maybe I'll take some pictures and put them in. But yeah, I think that's about it. I don't really have much else. I am going to do a shop update with the colorway, the basket case colorway. I'm going to be adding those to my Etsy shop soon. I didn't bring, actually I have some right here. Let me go grab it. I did bring the actual colors of these skeins. So this is what it looks like. It's super speckly. It's got a lot of green. Well, not a lot, but more green than what mine has. Some pink, a little bit of purple, and navy blue. I think this one's wrapped up the best to see all the colors. But there's a lot of speckles, some natural white in there still. There's some speckles there. So this basket case, I will have 6 skeins of it on my standard sock, the 75% superwash merino and 25% nylon base. So those will be going in. I also have another new colorway, which is outside drying at the moment. I dyed yarn yesterday because it was cold and trying to snow still, and I couldn't put it outside. So I covered the entire bathroom with yarn, and it was not warm enough to dry, like, at all. So first thing this morning, I was like, oh, it's supposed to be 60 degrees outside. Set up the clothes rack outside and hung all my skeins of yarn out there. Yeah. Usually if I dye yarn in the winter time, we have a fire going and the heater on. And by heater, I don't mean we have forced air heat. I mean we have little space heaters that I have to plug in to the wall, and they aren't very efficient. But the house is much warmer than it was yesterday because our firewood was not covered. So it was soaking wet. So I could not start a fire. And all I had was the little space heater, and it was not warming the house up enough to dry yarn. So really thankful that it's warm enough today to dry yarn outside. And I will put some pictures on my Twisted Threads yarn Instagram page of the new colorway once it's dry enough to skein it up. And yeah, I will probably be putting up my basket case colorway into the shop either tomorrow or later this afternoon. Tomorrow being Wednesday. So I would check once this video goes up. If you're watching it right away, I would check. And if you're not watching it right after this video, or right when the video goes up, which probably not, it is probably in my shop. So please feel free to check that out. And if you're actually interested, if you go to my Instagram page, there is a coupon code there. If you really want some yarn from me, use the coupon code. 15% off. Hey! But yeah, I think that's about it. I think I've said that about 10 times so far. And I really look forward to seeing you guys next week. I should mention, if I don't get a lot of knitting done this week and through the weekend, because I will be gone Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I might delay my podcasting until like next Friday. Not this upcoming Friday, the 16th. The Friday after that, I might delay my podcast to just so I have some more knitting content and I don't have to sit here blabbering on about nothing to you guys unless you want me to. But yeah, we'll see. Originally, I was posting on or filming on Fridays, and then Memorial Day weekend happened, and my husband and I went shopping and a whole bunch of stuff. So now I've been posting after the weekend, and we'll just see. I want to make sure I have enough to show you or enough progress. I don't mean that I need a finished object to film a video. I just don't know how much I'm going to get done this weekend, and I don't want to make any promises if I have fun and I don't do it. So I'll post some pictures of being in Monterey on Instagram so you guys can see what I'm doing if you want. If not, they're still going to be posted on Instagram, so whatever. And I think I'm going to leave you here. I hope you guys have a great rest of your week. Have a great day, have a great evening, morning, afternoon, whatever time it is, have a great one. And I look forward to seeing you guys next time. Happy knitting and bye. What are you doing? Are you saying hi? Oh, dog hair. This is usually how we sit. All right, Red, we'll say bye. Say bye-bye. Bye-bye.